Hi, I welcome you to this presentation titled Valleys of the Valley. This presentation is a part of IMF webinar series and member of IMF. I also thought that I'll also contribute towards series and make you people more conversant with the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. My name is Mahmood Ahmad Shah and I work with the state government, and I had a number of assignments with tourism department, and of late I moved from tourism department, and presently I'm posted as director industries. I consider myself very lucky to be born here because there is no dearth of trails here. So for the last 2 decades I have been roaming around the mountains of Kashmir, and Kashmir has been described very aptly by Pandit Kalhan, 12th century historian, the land in the womb of Himalayas. When we cast a glance from the space, this is how we look. We are sandwiched between the greater Himalaya and the lesser Himalayas. This flat piece of land, if we traverse the entire length of the Himalayas, you won't find a valley of this magnitude. The beauty of this valley is that you have the main valley and then you have the surrounding and adjoining valleys. And this complex system of valleys is very unique to the Himalayas, and a number of streams which originate in the mountains drain into the main valley. There are a large number of high altitude lakes in Jammu and Kashmir. Some studies say that the number is as high as 1200. I have over the period of time been to 108 high altitude lakes. This lake is named as Bagsar. A high altitude lake is a lake which is a perennial source of water. The lake which does not freeze to its bottom during the winter months. The Seven Lake or the Great Lake segment, which includes the Gangabal, Gadsar, Kishansar, and Vishansar. This segment which we are right now talking in the slides which you are seeing is also a part of Seven Lake Trek, but it is a different. It's located close to the Mughal Road. So I am highlighting some of the lesser known lakes, high altitude lakes of Kashmir. This is Nandansar, and it also forms the part of the Seven Lake Trek around Mughal Road. This is Hundusar. It's also located at an altitude of 4,000 meters. All these lakes are located around the main ridgeline of the Pir Panchals. You must have heard about a meadow known as Tosumadan, and this lake known as the Palmsar forms the headwaters of a river known as Suknak, which drains the higher reaches of Tosumadan. Because of this altitude, the lake remains snowbound for more than 6 months of the year. Going towards South Kashmir, you must have heard a river known as Bringi, which is very famous for trout, and also the valley houses the famous springs of Kokarnag. Mawarnag forms the headwaters of the Bringi stream, and you require to trek 10 kilometers from the nearest village up to this lake. Harnag, people are very conversant with hill station of Pahalgam. From Pahalgam, there is a village known as Aru, and from Aru you start walking and you reach this lake and trekking a distance of 14 kilometers. This Harnag forms the headwaters of the stream which drains Sonamarg, known as the Sindh. Talking about Sonamarg, there's a village in Sonamarg known as Sarbal, and from Sarbal, this lake can be reached by trekking a distance of 8.5 kilometers. Again, this lake is located high up in the mountains, as high as 4,100 meters. Naturally, this lake will be snowbound for most parts of the year. That's why you will see the icebergs floating in the lake. Going back to Pahalgam, this lake forms the headwaters of the Leather River, which drains Pahalgam. This was a brief of high altitude lakes of Jammu and Kashmir. Now we shift the focus of the presentation to a club. Jammu and Kashmir Mountaineering Hiking Club is the oldest club of the Union Territory. It has been established in 1934 by Tendal Biscoe. Biscoe was an academician and he left a legacy of adventure. I took over the reins of the club 6 years back, and we started an initiative on the social media by the name of Sunday Treks. Presence of the Jammu and Kashmir Mountain Hiking Club is on Facebook, Twitter, and Insta, and we started an initiative organizing treks on Sundays. Number of trails have been traversed, and the participation has grown considerably. And we have seen that over the period of time that the boys who came, who joined us early, then also graduated to mountaineering. Incidentally, we had two boys which formed a team of IMF's Everest expedition. Unfortunately, because of the COVID pandemic, this expedition has been deferred for the next year. At the beginning, I told you that I have had many assignments in tourism department. One of the assignments which I handled was in the capacity of CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Gulmarg Development Authority. Gulmarg, of course, is a summer as well as a winter destination. One of the advantages of Gulmarg is that Gulmarg slopes are serviced by Gulmarg Cable Car, and by virtue of this cable car, tourists can access the higher reaches of the mountain, Apharwat, and cable car connects Gulmarg Bowl, which is at an altitude of 2,650 meters, to the elevation of 3,800 meters. From the gondola top station, you hike up and you reach a flat ground known as the Apharwat top, and from Apharwat you can have an unobstructed view of the Greater Himalayas. During my assignment, one fine day, I was able to click a panorama of the whole Greater Himalayas. This panorama is perhaps the largest panorama taken, and it showcases the Himalayas in their enormity. The panorama size is about is 26 feet in length and a feet and a half in width. I merged about 45 frames, and then its size was as big as 4 GB, and it was very difficult to print, and I had to take these files to Delhi and get it printed, and it's presently on display in Delhi and Srinagar. I was not able to display the panorama in this presentation because of the size constraints, but in order to describe what all I was able to capture, show you some of the iconic features of Greater Himalaya which are visible from Apharwat and which I was able to put in my panorama. The first impressive feature which is visible from Gulmarg is Nanga Parbat, and it is located in the extreme north of Gulmarg. The next feature which is visible from Gulmarg is the second highest peak of Kashmir, which is known as Mount Harmukh, and it is in clockwise direction from Nanga Parbat. As we move further in clockwise direction, the mountain which comes into sight on a clear day is Mount Kolhai. Kolhai is also known as the Matterhorn of Kashmir and is the highest mountain of Kashmir. Further, as we go towards south, another impressive feature which comes to the fore are the twin peaks of Nun and Kun, which are located in Kargil and form the main part of the Greater Himalayas. Towards the extreme south lie two impressive mountains with an elevation of more than 6,000 meters. The two mountains are the Sikil Moon and the Brahma. So this whole panorama is visible from Gulmarg. Since I have been able to roam around and I have been on almost all the trails of the Jammu and Kashmir, I thought about making new trails. You know, the dilemma which a trekker faces is that every year new roads are being constructed in the mountains and the trekking trails are disappearing. There's an urgent requirement to think out of the box, conceive new trails. So I also thought of making a new trail, and last year I walked from Banihal to Mughal Road. I'll give you a brief of this trail. Also, is conversant with Kashmir, is conversant with Banihal, and we have a Banihal Tunnel which was constructed in 1956. It's a 2.1 kilometer tunnel, and it is constructed at an altitude of 1,647 meters. The tunnel was constructed to provide short connectivity to the valley. The Banihal Tunnel sits below the Banihal Pass. And from Banihal Pass, we start the trek. The first thing which comes to the site are these monstrous electric towers. The valley is rich in water resources, and many hydel projects are there, and the electricity generated is injected into the northern grid. And during the winter time, when there is the water in the rivers decrease, there is the reverse movement of electricity from the northern grid into the valley. As we walk the ridgeline slopes on the right hand side merge into Valley of Kashmir, and you are able to view the valley. And on the left hand side, the ridges merge into Jammu, and the surrounding mountains of Jammu are visible. The first pass which we confront on this trail is the Khaldalav Pass. This pass is located at an altitude of 3,300 meters and snowbound till late May. It becomes pony friendly as the snow melts, and as the snow melts, people, the grazers, the Gujars and the Bakarwals, along with their cattle, can be seen moving up into the pastures where they graze their cattle. The next pass which we confront is the Pahalgal Pass. This pass again is close to 3,300 meters and provides a impressive panorama. There is an impressive ridgeline and prime territory of the brown bear and the elusive markhor. The plenty of campsites are visible, are available. We usually prefer to camp around the seasonal habitations. You can see on the right hand side, the log huts are there. These log huts form the summer quarters for the grazers and the shepherds who come from either from Jammu or from the Kashmir plains to seek grazing grounds for their livestock. The beauty of the Pir Panchal is the formation of the margs. Margs is the local name for the meadows, which are found in plenty in the Pir Panchals. The orientation of the Pir Panchal is that it is steep on the Jammu side, but it's very gradual on Kashmir side. And the slopes, as they gradually merge with the valley, are known as the writing desk slopes. This is one of the meadows which falls on the trekking trail. As we come to the conclusion of the trail, we come across a huge grazing ground known as the Rainur. This meadow is particularly impressive because of the greens and undulating slopes, and plenty of camping ground is available, and you can find plenty of livestock grazing on the greener pastures. As we come to the culmination of this trail, which is the Mughal Road, little bit of insight about this place is that before the construction of the road, there was a trail across the mountains, and it was known as the Mughal Trail. Mughals were in love with Kashmir, and Akbar came to Kashmir thrice. Jahangir came 13 times, and as the royal entourage used to move, the number of the royal entourage would range from 25,000 to 30,000. When such a huge movement was there was necessity to camp. That's why on the orders of a series of sarais were constructed, and you can find many sarais still standing on this trail. So in 2005, the construction of road was there, and from Mughal Trail, it got converted into Mughal Road. This was some insight about a new trekking trail which I walked last year. As at the inception, I have already told you that I have been roaming around the mountains, and I have taken many photographs, been to many high altitude lakes and trails. So I thought that it's the right time to collate all the data. And I was working on a book, a coffee table book titled Valleys of the Valley. Because of this COVID pandemic, and the project has been delayed, and hopefully in coming months I'll complete the assignment. In addition, I'm also planning to compile a trekking guidebook on Kashmir, which hopefully will be coming months. I'll try to collate it. At the end, I'll thank the IMF for launching this initiative and giving me an opportunity to showcase my work. Thank you once again.